just inevitable. Sooner or later, everybody's kids are going to go from this to big boys or big girls. Today on For Your Home, we're going to share some tools with you that you can use to have fun tapping into your children's creativity when decorating their rooms.
When we're making our windows and doors, and even when we're not, Pella is helping to protect our environment in communities across the country through forest stewardship, pollution prevention, waste management, and other green initiatives. Not only because it's good for business, but because it's the right thing to do. And frankly, it's just part of the way we've always done things. Because at Pella, we believe we're not just making windows and doors for houses, we're making them for the people who live inside. Pella, viewed to be the best.
When we talk about style, we sometimes overlook where style starts out. For a teenager, it all has to do with the relationship that they have with themselves, how they feel about themselves, and how they want others to feel about them. Working with your kids or your grandkids to help decorate their room can be a wonderful workshop in discovering style and creativity. It helps them really tap into their true design levels. Now, this is Logan, and she is one of 5 of my grandchildren, and Logan is 11, and she has agreed to work with me, her yaya, to redecorate her room. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, tell me first of all, what is it that you don't like about your room right now?
Well, I really don't like my furniture. I loved it earlier, but now it's just kind of getting in the way, and it's just so big.
Okay, so it's too bulky for you, all right? Now, what about when you have a friend sleep over? I mean, what do you do then?
Well, in my room, I only have one for my best friend, Whitney. But if I have more, then we have to move to the playroom.
Okay, well, you have the playroom, so that's great space. What's wrong with using that space?
Well, it's really fun, but now that I have a little brother, I have to share it.
Say no more. Say no more. You know, Uncle Monty, that's my little brother, and I know exactly how you feel. All right, so we need to have space so that we can open up more room for maybe sleeping bags or some kind of overnight accommodations, right? Okay, now, on the other side of the room, you have that really great chest. I mean, it's really big and large. It looks like it holds a lot. What don't you like about that?
I just don't like that it sticks out so much. It takes up so much space, but it's great for holding things. It's just so big.
Okay, and does it operate easy? I mean, those are like some really big drawers there.
Sometimes the knobs fall off, and it's hard to get them back into their place.
Okay, well, that would be a problem, yeah, if the knobs fall off. Okay, well, that's a lot of stuff over there, so we're going to have a place to store that, all right? So what about your closet? How are we doing with that space?
Well, it's great for floor space, as you can see, but not for my closet.
Okay, because it looks like to me everything is just hanging way high like that, and then you've got all the wasted space that's below it. Okay, so maybe if we redo that closet and get a more sensible closet system in there with, you know, maybe some storage, we can move some of the things from this chest into that area.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all of that bedding I see piled up there, is that for when people spend the night?
No, it's actually my old bedding, so we can get rid of that.
Okay, so all right, we'll have to find a place for that, and then we'll have to redo the closet system. Okay, come on back over here. Here's one of the things about when you start decorating, all right, is you want to keep in your mind your vision and how you see it, and I think you're going pretty well there. You want open, airy, you want places to put stuff. That also means that you have to make choices like getting rid of some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to open up space, there's only 2 ways to do it. Either elevate it, which is one thing we can look at, like maybe getting your bed up off the floor, like in a loft situation or something like that, like they do in college dorm rooms or something. The other thing is to get rid of how much stuff we have.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we've already decided we could get rid of the bedding, all right? So that's going to open up some of that space, but we have to take all the things, and these are all your clothing and your jewelry and all that's here. So it means we need to get organized, and we need to start pitching and tossing. All right, so I think the best place for us to start would be for you to grab some plastic buckets and let's just start getting organized together. I'll help you sort through stuff and we'll throw out what we don't want and we'll keep what we do and then we'll know exactly how much storage space we need.
I'm ready.
All right, let's get the baskets. Got us a tub, huh? Okay, let me get this stuff way up here. And let's start just filling up that bucket right there. Working with your kids to design their perfect bedroom can be a great learning experience for all.
Well, Yaya, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, girl, I think it sure is pink. I think it's really pretty. Are you happy with it?
I'm happy.
Okay, now I brought you told me you wanted a pink carpet, so I brought you all these different colors of beautiful shades of pink. Why did you go with this instead of these?
Well, I thought this one was a little too red for me. And I thought this one was a little too dark. And this one was pretty light, and so I went with this one.
Well, I think that's a good choice, but what was your inspiration to go with that color?
My bedding. I thought the pink went
Oh,
great
I like
with
this. So this is our bedding we're going to use?
Yeah.
Ah, I like that very well. Okay, and you thought the pink went to?
Great with the flowers and the pink and the bedding.
Well, I think you're right. That is exactly the right color of pink for us to use. I think you made a really great selection on it. You know, it's going to tone, the bedding's going to tone things down, which I like. I like the little lime green around the outside edges of it because that little preppy with the lime. So we really have our set dominating inspiration now, our carpet and our bedding. Okay, the third thing in this whole scenario that you would want to think about is the wall color. All right, what do you think we should do with the walls? Paint them, leave them the same, what?
I'd like to keep it the same color.
Why?
Because I think it opens up my room a little bit more and gives it space.
I like that idea. Well, the only problem, the walls look pretty good, okay, and the ceiling looks good, but we have some nail holes from other artwork that's been in here before and a few scuffs. So if you're going to be a decorator, you have to learn very quickly how to touch up paint. So are you ready to learn those skills?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get busy. Okay, the easiest thing that you can learn how to do is to patch holes. And once you know how to patch a hole in a wall, you can have a lot of fun as a decorator because that means if you hang a picture and you don't like where it is, no problem. Take it off, patch the hole. So let's start there. First we need some spackling paste. And you always want to be sure you read the label to make sure it's paintable because there's some kinds that aren't and then that makes a big mess.
Okay.
All right, so you could use like a little putty knife like this to spread it on, or you could just simply use your fingers. So I'm going to have you do that. Just dip in there and get a little bit on your finger. Yep, that's plenty. And I just want you to poke it in that hole. Okay, smooth it out with your finger and push it down in there. All right. Okay, now then take the excess off, wipe it off with your finger. There you go. Okay, now we're going to let that just sit there for just a few minutes.
Okay.
And you always want to make sure that you have a wet cloth with you like this because we want to wipe that off before it dries completely because if we let it dry completely, then we got to work at it a lot harder. So all you're going to do with this is you're just going to put it on top of it and just wipe across like that.
Okay. So
Okay.
do I wipe the entire thing off?
You're going to wipe the entire thing off. Don't push down too hard. Just wipe over, and what we need will stay below the surface. What we don't will come off on the red. So go ahead, try it. There you go. Okay? Now, if you had tried to paint over that hole without putting the spackle paste in there, the hole would have just come right back through. All right? They always do. No matter how little they are, they'll always show up. Now, that needs to dry before we can paint it. So let's come down here and let's address, see these scratches here on the wall?
Yeah, I tried to wipe them out, but they didn't come out.
Okay, so we need to touch them up with paint. That's why anytime you paint, you always want to keep a little bit of the paint left over. Be sure you label the can so you know, like write my room, Logan's room on it. And then we've got our paint in a little container. It's easier to do with this than a big bucket. You can either use a traditional brush like this, but then we'd have to clean it when we're done. My choice, the good old sponge brush. This we can throw away when we're done, okay?
Great.
All right, now the secret to touching up spots is to just use a kind of a light touch. You wouldn't want to come in and just paint over the two little areas, it would show. So you're going to like feather, just think about like sweeping a floor, just real light like that, okay? So I'm going to put on just the right amount of paint for you. You don't need a lot. See how it soaks right in there? But you always want to wipe off the excess. Now, you go and do a little feather dust in there for me, babe. You got it. Now just feather. A little up and down action. Okay. Now, we're going to let that dry. And I think you can go up there and touch that one up.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we're going to let both of those dry. When they've dried for about, probably like 15 minutes, we'll be able to come in and put a second coat on, and then they'll totally disappear. We got that time? Let's go get us a cold drink, okay?
Okay.
Now, in order to create Logan's dream bedroom, we're going to have to invest in some new furniture. When you get ready to shop for your children's furniture, don't bring them with you, at least not for your first trip. Go online ahead of time, look at some styles, get their input a little bit, do your homework about safety. You know, depending on the age your children are, you want to make sure with Consumer Reports that you're really buying a good quality product, and then get into the stores. When you get in here, take a look around the entire store before you end up in the children's section. You may find some surprising pieces of furniture that you can use in those rooms. The first thing you're probably going to be greeted with when you walk into the juvenile section of your local furniture store are bunk beds. You know, bunk beds always seem to be favorites for kids, and depending upon how many children you've got a bunk at your house, you might want to consider them. But first of all, consider the fact that bunk beds can be a safety issue. You want to make sure that you purchase a bunk bed that is safe for your kids, and you want to go over a few rules with them. First of all, let's talk about how to pick out a safe bunk bed. You never want to inherit an old one. You want to get a new one. Safety laws have changed. You want an opening that's 15 inches across here for them to climb in and out of the bed. You want to make sure that the rails are at least 5 inches or taller from the top of the mattress to the top here. You want to make sure that when your kids get in here and they lay down and they set up, they have plenty of room and they won't bump their head. Then you want to make sure that the stairs that they use to access this top bunk are really sturdy, that they're not flimsy, so they can crawl right up there and into the bed safe and secure. The other thing is, once you get your set of bunk beds home, you want to make sure you do a little safety talk with your little guys. And that is, first of all, this is not a playground up here. No jumping, running, going crazy. Keep them out of that area for playing. The stairs, don't let them use it as a coat rack or the rails and hanging belts and toys and jackets on it, because that makes the steps slippy. And you could have the potential of strangling if you have things hanging off the rails. So you need to monitor that. You need to have that rule. And don't forget, if you got overnight guests, they might not know those safety rules for bunk beds. Always review them with those little kids when they come over. Little girls in pink, they just go together naturally. And as a grandmother, I can't think of anything sweeter than to see my beautiful little granddaughter sleeping in a sweet bed like this. But here's the problem. Furniture is expensive, and you want to be sure that when you invest in quality furniture, that it will transition with your children. So a fancy little bedroom set like this with this gorgeous hardware and all the little fancy filigree, it may be perfect when they're a little girl and thinking princess dreams, but when they grow up, become a teenager, or get their first apartment, not so much. Let me show you a better choice than this white bedroom that they're going to grow with. Now, this white bedroom set, it can withstand the test of time. It is just absolutely adorable. Take a look at it. We have a nice big chest here with big drawers that can handle lots of clothes as they grow and get larger. And the bed, there's plenty of detail on it, but it's not so foo-foo-y. We have like a nice beadboard in the back of it, a nice little sculptured top to it. This bed could transition even to maybe your guest room at the beach, or to that first apartment we're talking about. But while they're growing up, put the right comforters with little pink flowers on it, and you've got a really dynamite bed set. Now remember, you want to make sure that the pieces you choose have lots of storage. They can transition from one age group to the next age group, and try to keep the style very classic as you go. These are great alternatives for little girls. Let's take a look for those little boys in your life. This is a great bed for any guy that you're trying to decorate their room, and it'll transition very well for them. But here's something I want you to think about. This bed is between $600 and $400, and it's a little bit skimpy on the size of the rail and a little bit of the construction. And if you look at the chest that we have over here, same problem. I think that this is a little bit flimsy for what we want to work with for that kind of money. So instead of looking for boys' furniture in the juvenile department, come on with me. Let me show you what's a better value. This is the winner for your boys' room. It is the same price as the bed that we saw in the juvenile department, and it takes up the same amount of space, but the construction, it's so much better. I love the finish that's on this bed. And when you're working with adult furniture, which is what I call this, you also have a lot more options for accessory pieces than you do with children's furniture. Like this chest is a great piece. It has beautiful, sophisticated hardware on it. The drawers just glide open and closed, and that's really important because little kids, if they're tugging on the drawers, it's easy to make things fall off the top and they can get injured. So you want to always make sure the drawers function beautifully. Plus, you're going to be able to find other accessory pieces like a big dresser, maybe mirrors that go with it, nightstands. You can mix and match, and in some cases, in this level of furniture, you might be able to even get a different finish. So you might be perfect for that white bedroom you're planning as well. The best way to pull off a decorating theme in any child's room is to accessorize, accessorize, accessorize. Look at these beautiful accessories we have here. They are so much fun. If you're working on a budget and you're going to recycle furniture, think about investing a little bit of money in some fun accessories. These little polka dotted lamps and these great vases, the jewel top boxes, they can liven up any room that you might be trying to bring some new spirit and new life to. For little boys, it could be sailboats, it could be a great new baseball or soccer chair. There are small things that you can bring into a child's room that can really put their personality into that space and make them feel really happy and excited about where their new room is taking them. When you're decorating that room, don't overlook the need for a mirror on the wall. Kids love to see themselves, but be sure that you hang it at a height that they can actually see themselves. And then as they grow, all you got to do is just keep moving that nail right on up the wall. Another thing is their name. Children love to see their name in print. So you can purchase inexpensive wooden letters. You can paint them any color you want to match your room decor. They can help you do that project and then hang them in their room. They love that touch. Don't overlook photographs either. Photographs are a real affordable way to accessorize a space. Photos of themselves, of their friends, maybe their grandparents, or even you, mom and dad. They love that personal touch in their room, and they only cost you a few dollars. Be creative with those accessories, add a coat of paint to them if you need it, and you're going to find you've got a great room for a very little amount of money. Well, I've got some great options for Logan, and I'm going to let her make the final selection because I think that she's going to be a good judge of exactly what she needs. When you're planning your children's rooms, don't always think matchy-matchy. When you're walking around through that furniture store, look at some of the more eclectic, fun kind of pieces, and instead of getting a matching nightstand, maybe a really funky chest might be a great idea, or a great little chair to go in the corner. Be creative. They're going to have a lot more fun with their room if you add a touch of the whimsy to it. Okay, Logan, I really like this furniture you picked out.
Thank you.
You know, you had a lot of choices of different styles, different colors. What made you choose this set?
Well, every choice you gave me, there's something special about all of them. But when I mapped them out on the board, there wasn't enough room. So when I mapped these furniture out, it looked like there's just enough room for everything.
That's why when you're designing, these little boards can be really handy because they're drawn to scale and you really know if something fits or doesn't fit. Perfect. I like it a lot. Now, you've done a great job. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
But I think that your friend Whitney might feel like she's a little overlooked because originally you said she had to have a place to sleep, and this is not a trundle.
Well, what we're going to do is in one of these drawers, we're going to store an air mattress, and then whenever somebody spends the night, we can take it out and blow up their bed.
Okay, and then you'll have a handy place to store it when you're not using it. I like that idea. Okay, speaking of ideas, I hope you have one because we still have to deal with the window treatment. What do you think?
I have an idea.
Okay.
You know how you're always telling me a room reflects off of somebody's personality?
You've been listening, I can tell.
Well, I'm going to make big paper flowers.
Oh, those are pretty. And what are we going to do with those flowers?
I'm going to twist them around the curtain rod, and then I'll leave them there.
Well, do you know how to make those flowers?
Yes, I do.
You're going to show me how?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So the first thing I did is when I went to the craft store, I took the shams from my bedding, and I matched it up with some colors for my paper flowers.
Okay.
And what you do from there is you take a full sheet of tissue paper, and then you cut it, you fold it, and you cut it in half, and then you put them together.
How many layers of tissue did you use?
Well, I used 6, but depending on the size of the flower you want is whatever.
So the more sheets, I guess, the fluffier your flower gets? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, then what did you do?
Then after that, I folded it accordion style.
Okay.
And then after that, I trimmed the edges to make it a little bit more, give it more shape.
Okay.
And after that, you take the pipe cleaner, you scrunch it up a little bit, and then you take the pipe cleaner, you wrap it around, twist it to the other.
Okay, so I guess if you got to pull this really tight then, huh?
Yes.
In the center, okay. And then what did you do?
Then after that, you start taking apart the pieces, but you have to be very careful because sometimes it may rip. And that's okay depending on how much you rip it.
It'll just kind of be more like a carnation than it would be, you know, a rose, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So then, just like this one, you get them all pulled out, and you just keep fluffing as you go, huh? Yeah. Well, I like this project, all right? And then once we get them all made, what are we going to do with them?
We're going to twist the pipe cleaner around
the curtain rod you already had? Okay, very cool. I like that idea. This is a fun project. I love your window treatment, Logan. It turned out great. You can tell that you come from a long lineage of crafty women.
Thank you, but my mom helped me a little.
Well, I tell you, it looks super, and I think that it's a real affordable project that anybody can do. In fact, I love your entire room. I think you did a great job. From the carpet you picked out is absolutely perfect because it's lively, you know, but when you get all the furniture in it, there's not that much of it that shows, so you needed a bright color. That was a good choice on yours. And the bedding, I couldn't be happier. The bedding you chose, it's fun, it's not, you know, it's got big flowers on it, but yet it makes it youthful and full of energy. I like that about it. And the quilt will be perfect for when Whitney comes over with that blow-up mattress. I like the fact you have a place to do your homework and your laptop. And you were telling me that this even has a charging station built into it?
I love it. Love my desk.
So now you can keep making those straight A's, right? All right, and your dresser's got plenty of room. It's not as bulky as your old one, so I like that. And you know the fact that you chose a white set like this, you're not going to outgrow it. You know, like some of the things we looked at were a little more childish and like elaborate kind of detail to it. But this is something you can take right on, you know, to an apartment or a guest room at another house. Well, you did great with the decorating aspect, but let me ask you about this. How did your closet turn out? Remember, it was a big mess when we saw it first.
Well, let me show you.
Okay. Oh my goodness, is this my granddaughter's closet? This looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I love the way. Do you love it?
Yes.
Okay, well tell me, you know, like before you had so much stuff. So what did you do with a lot of the things that you had in here?
Well, I made some tough decisions, but I gave some of my clothes away.
Okay.
And which paid off because I love my closet and it has just the right amount of clothes.
You know, and it's amazing too. Once you get rid of all of the other stuff, you don't really miss it, do you?
No, not at all.
And it's more fun to come in and just, I bet you can have more variety in the way you get dressed, even though you have less clothes, because you can find everything, you know? But I love it. These little bins are great for tossing stuff into, and shoe boxes. The drawers are great for T-shirts and all. And I love the little stool. Is that so you can reach the top? Smart thinking. And look, it even matches the room.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm really, really happy with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to keep yourself more organized, you have yourself a bulletin board over here, a little magnetic board. That's always handy, a bulletin board or something like that to keep it together. Well, I am so proud of you. You did such a great job. Thank you for letting me help you do this.
No, thank you. You made my room a lot better.
We together made your room a lot better. So I think you need to like maybe get on the phone, call your friends, start showing off your handiwork.
I'm excited.
All right. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you. I loved what my yaya and I did in my room that I got so inspired to do my brother's room. Here's what I did. I decided to keep the same colors for Jake's wall. And we decided to keep the letters of his name on the wall in the circles. And my mom and I found this little quilt at the discount store that had circles that tied in the circles on the wall. And then I decided to go with black for the furniture because I thought it tied in a lot of colors. And the colors of Jake's room I chose were orange and blue. Also, I got this little cute robot print that I thought tied in a bunch of colors and it was fun for Jake's room. And then we got this little character chair that I thought was fun for me and him to read a book or even him to put on his shoes.
Well, we had a lot of fun decorating this project together, didn't we?
Oh yes, we did.
You know, and I learned so much about her creativity and her style. It was just a real pleasure. So if your kid's room is in need of a makeover, why not do it together? You're going to learn so much about them and have a lot of fun, and I think you'll keep your room even cleaner because it's the way you like it, right?
Yes.
It might work at your house. Join me next time right here on For Your Home.
When we're making our windows and doors, and even when we're not, Pella is helping to protect our environment in communities across the country through forest stewardship, pollution prevention, waste management, and other green initiatives. Not only because it's good for business, but because it's the right thing to do. And frankly, it's just part of the way we've always done things. Because at Pella, we believe we're not just making windows and doors for houses, we're making them for the people who live inside. Pella, viewed to be the best.
Do you want to know more about the projects today or our guests? Visit us on the web. You're going to find great behind-the-scenes shots, streaming video, project ideas. We even have an e-newsletter with tips and ideas. It's foryourhome.com.